Welcome back to the Frustrated Podcast, brand new podcast, episode 75? 76. That's a good way. I've gotten most of them wrong, so that's kind of a good way. So, yes, no, the title is real. I know a lot of people were like, no, the title's not real, because we don't always, deliver what we promise in our titles. But this one is actually real, so we're going to get into it and we're going to talk about it. We're also going to reflect on the channel. And more importantly, I think the main topic of discussion today is actually going to be our walk that we had. That's what the title was going to be. But ever since I started the vlog channel, I've been thinking about it for a while. So when Abby and I haven't really talked about this yet, the fact that I am leaving, other than a quick text. But I want to welcome everybody to the podcast. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Spotify, iTunes for all you lawnmowers out there.
Come on, one last time.
One last time. And Stitcher.
There it is.
Stitcher. And just so you guys know, I will be back as a guest as long as Abby wants me. Maybe he won't. I'm not completely gone from the podcast, but I am not going to be on regularly.
Gone but not forgotten, Brandon.
What if you were just like, what if I was kind of laughing when you were like, can you be a guest and like a guest from time to time? And I was going to respond. I was like, yeah, anytime you want. And then my thought was just like, you're going to have me be a guest every episode.
Twice a week, every week.
So the reason why I am leaving is when I started the vlog channel, or let's go back. Back when I used to be working at my old job where Abby still currently works. Episode 1. I was getting to the point where I was getting overwhelmed. I was still doing my master's degree for a while. I was doing YouTube and I was working the full-time job. Got to the point where Sam and I weren't even watching TV anymore. Like, I would literally come home, work. I'd get up really early. I'd work, and then I'd go to my actual job. And then I'd come home, eat dinner, and go back to work. When I quit my job, things were able to get a little bit better. I'm still super busy, but, like, things got a lot better. Now I decided to make the vlog channel where I'm obviously putting a lot more effort into the vlogs. They're taking longer, and it's just an extra video because I'm still uploading every day on my main channel. And I'm starting to creep back into that territory of just, like, yesterday was a Sunday. I worked from 8 a.m. till 6 until Sam and I had, dinner. And Sam wasn't home. She was at her mom's. So, like, it wasn't like she's not mad at me. But it's like I'm getting back to the point where I'm just constantly working. So, obviously, I know we always laugh about it. We don't make really any money on this podcast.
That's correct.
So, I'm not going to stop posting on my main channel because that's literally how I pay my bills. And the TFG Vlogs, my new channel, I'm very excited about. It's a once-a-week thing, but I put a lot of effort into them.
Doing very well. Go check it out.
It's off to a good start. If you haven't subscribed over there, TFG Vlogs.
Would it be great if, once the podcast moves on without you, that
it explodes.
We both equally get successful, but you become like an advertiser on our channel? Like, this segment is brought to you by TFG Vlogs, a former co-host. Yeah.
I'll pay you like brand deals and stuff.
Right.
But in seriousness, like, I do think, so Abby and I, as much as we're similar and as much as I legitimately do think we have good chemistry together, like, and we put on a good show, I do think we've always, our struggle, like the arguments we've always had.
Day one.
We have had arguments, not as much recently, but like we've always had arguments with this podcast, and they've always revolved around the content. Right? Would you say that's 99% of our, like, we don't have arguments over like, if I'm not available for an episode or if you're at the beat. We don't have those arguments for the most part.
No.
The arguments were always, I guess, the workload.
Well, the workload in the beginning was a big one.
But we kind of figured out.
We basically figured it out, yep.
And the content. That was the majority of the arguments.
Correct.
Abby wanting to cater, fair enough, to a little bit of an older audience, a little bit more graphic content. And I make it sound like it's horrendous. No, but it's just like, you want to talk about what you're talking about. I just want to talk about dead babies
every episode.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's nothing bad, but you obviously swear a lot. You want to talk about maybe some PG-13 and up topics, and for me, that's not my audience. That's kind of not my brand, and that's just not me in general. Like, you know me, I don't really swear, and even off camera. So that's kind of always been our.
I think what's perplexing to me, right?
Yeah.
Is that when we were at the lunch table together, when we thought of these this channel, but even before, like when we had our regular conversations, it's not like we weren't putting on a show, so we didn't struggle as to our content, and we always had such good conversation that it only felt natural that we would broadcast our thoughts and conversations to try to make extra money.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the second it became like a legitimate thing, there was like that struggle of like, what should we talk about? And I want to talk about this. I want to get into this topic. When at the lunch table, it's like we never struggled.
Yeah.
We just talked. It was
okay.
That being
said,
yeah,
I still think we put on a really entertaining podcast. I mean, I could be wrong. I just think growing a podcast is really hard. And on top of that, for the most part, I think the podcast audience is a little bit older. Like, I think the people in our comment section here are probably a little bit older than the average,
I would. So
viewer.
I think a lot of the world, everything. You ever see those people who are highly successful, but it took a while for them to hit? And it all just has to do with circumstance. Branding is a lot of it.
I mean, I know you don't like him, but like Mr. Beast literally said,
right.
It took him 3 years to get his first 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, I literally haven't even had my person on. I complain about like I wish I was growing faster. I haven't even been doing it for 3 years yet, and he had 1,000, and he was still grinding.
So I think a lot of our issue, from my perspective, our issue with the channel is, one, I don't think I'm at my funniest when I'm censored. Two, I think that we started the channel with hopes. We started the channel in two ways. We were either going to do it completely disconnected from the frustrated gamer and completely disconnected from Brandon and just have a separate
new audience.
One, we called the podcast the Frustrated Podcast. Very stupid of both of us to do so, because that immediately offers a connection to your channel. Two,
I brought it up on my channel from time to time.
Not even that. We just realized, like, and I think you realize, like, you just can't do it. Like, there's a reason why people don't do it, because you can't.
Yeah.
You are Brandon. Like, anything I say is in some way a reflection of you. It has your name on it. Even though you didn't say anything negative, even though I don't think I actually really said anything horrible, even curse words become a reflection of you, and people don't like it. And that causes an opportunity for you to seriously hurt your livelihood. That's like you said, paying the bills. And it just became a thing where I think you were like, it's just not, the juice is not worth
the
squeeze.
No, and you're 100% right. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh, they weren't making money, so he quit, which, like, obviously if the podcast was doing great, would I still be doing it? Probably. But You're right. The juice is not worth the squeeze. For those of you that don't know what that means, is basically like what you're getting for it is not worth maybe what you're risking, or even just what you're putting into it. So for me, I don't think of this as being a huge risk, but you're right. Honestly, I think at my point, I was like, hey, we've been doing this for a year. It's not really growing, and the chances of you or me saying something that could hurt my main channel is probably higher than that. Yeah. But even beyond that, for me, it's more the time thing. Like, it's not a coincidence that I'm leaving 2 weeks after I start the TFG vlog channel. Like,
right. I also think of it, again, back to the branding of it. I think we got off to that start where people thought it was synonymous with your channel. So our viewership tended to skew, although older, but still younger, and the type of content they're into is more your type of content. Regardless of your age, if you're into Brandon, it's a different type of content than what I am going to be able to provide.
It's not Barstool Sports.
Right, it's not Barstool. And I'm not saying I'm Barstool. I'm not saying I'm as talented as Barstool, but I'm saying that's my type of humor. That's why
topics that you want to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I follow it. That's why I like Howard Stern. That's why I like these things. And so I think the viewership and the followers of the podcast became that too. And I think, no offense to our followers, like I love them, but I also think that dejects like an older, more mature follower base when they click on the channel and they see the comments, and it's like, these people are not like
I mean, that's to a degree why I started the TFG vlog channel. It's a less extreme jump, but my TFG vlog channel was trying to avoid that. Where like I would have some of my vlogs go, you know, semi-viral. Like the push-up one I did, it got like 500,000 or 600,000 views. Well. Obviously, if it's 600,000 views, it's a lot of people that aren't subscribed to me, right?
Right.
And my thing was, all right, a lot of people, hey, most of my audience loves my vlogs and loves my gaming. Perfect. They can go over and subscribe and enjoy both. The thing that I was trying to avoid was, hey, someone in, you know, maybe an 18-year-old watches my push-up video, says, won't watch hey, this is interesting. What else has this guy made? And then sees Baldi's Basics or something else, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm not interested. So my thought was, let me separate them. The people that like my vlogs and my gaming channel, it's free to subscribe. You know what I mean? Like, subscribing's free. It's not like I'm making them pay. Like, go subscribe to the vlog channel. Go subscribe to my gaming channel. But for those of you that just like the vlogs or just like the gaming, now it's separate, right? But, and I think that's kind of what we thought was going to happen over time.
Right. And I also think, like, we made some mistakes not mistakes, right? Like, we tried to grow in certain ways, and we found them interesting people. Obviously, they're your friends, and they were interesting. But, like, when you interview a Spy Cakes, right? And you interview an OB.
It's going to bring an overwhelming majority of that audience.
Right. And then 2 episodes later, you have all that fan base invigorated by
those were some of our biggest podcasts, the ones after we had them.
This is a cool channel. And then it's like we interviewed Jason Kabinda and talk about like Black Lives Matter. And we talk, we have Adrian come on to talk about how she got her period in a bathroom in like Mexico on like a cartel.
And then immediately views drop.
Right. Yeah. It's like, okay, you guys don't even know what you guys are. And that's kind of what I thought was the brilliance of it too, is that we are everything. Like, we can talk stupid and we can talk like juvenile, but then we can also take over serious topics like Kobe Bryant's death.
That was definitely one of our most powerful
We
episodes.
Discussed George Floyd. We discussed like other things. And we were able to do it, I think, with decorum and respect.
I think if anything, we worked into a little bit of a groove recently. It's still probably not the extent that you want it to be, and it might be past the extent I want it to be, but I think we've gotten into a good rhythm of like, we're not really, I don't think this podcast really has anything to do with my gaming channel anymore. Like, we're not interviewing those guys. We're not talking about that stuff other than my vlogs. Like, that's kind of the topic of the discussion sometimes we talk about. But it's just so hard to grow that audience. And I think
it's also, I just think they're like, nobody knows what to think, right? Like, we got the lawnmowers and the Filipinos. If you don't know what that means, like, go back and listen. Yeah, but you get those people. You get those people who are like. I think
that's the first time you've ever said "go back and listen." That's usually something that I'll say.
That's true. I learned a lot from you over the past year on how to be an entertainer and a performer. I don't know. It's sad because I really wanted it to work with us, but it was one of those things, and you'll admit it too. Like, from like a month in, it was like, this is not going to last. So I'm surprised that it's lasted a year. But then it became one of those things where we were like 10 months in, and it was like, you know, regardless of the views, regardless of this, like, maybe this is just the grindstone that you have to fight like for 2-3 years, and then something pops off.
Clicks. Yeah, we get
and like I said, and like you discussed before, we even discussed it in the beginning of this channel. Like, you're talented, and I think we are talented together to have discourse and have conversation, and we can carry a whole entire hour at a time with one Post-it note that has 2 topics on it.
And one of them is like, what do you like, onions or mashed potatoes? And like, we'll just roll off of that. Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people who can just do that, and that's frankly why me and you came together, because you were looking for an outlet, I was looking for an outlet, and we had nobody else in our lives that was able to possess.
Plus, like, we watched podcast. I mean, anyone that starts from zero on YouTube is like, you're not, but like, it feels like you're faking it. You know what I mean? Like, when I started my gaming channel, it was just like, I'm pretending to be a YouTuber until you're a YouTuber. And like, I feel like that was kind of the case with the podcast, where like, we watched Rogan and, you know, you watched Barstool, and like, I
We
wanted
tried
to be
to
a
do what they do.
podcaster. So we kind of
Right.
faked it. We're podcasters now. But like now I think we've been doing it long enough. Like, dude, we have more episodes than like the average. I mean, way more. Like, what was the average podcast?
Yes.
7 episodes?
Six episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't know. I legitimately mean it because I know I texted you today when I was talking about it. And I said, like, I legitimately think in the long run, if you get someone else, like one of your buddies or Steve or whoever you end up getting, I think you will have a better chance of success in the long run. And I know in the short run, views are probably going to go down and stuff like that. But I think if you legitimately talk about the topics you want to talk about, you market it the way you want to market it, and you don't have a filter, I mean, I think that is when you're at your best.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, I don't agree from the standpoint is I feel like I've been down this rabbit hole before. It's going to be a struggle for me to get onto the microphone every day or every week and do the work, right? Like, because one, I'm very insecure with myself and like, I don't like to market myself for as much as I do have bravado and I am cocky, but I don't like to even tell my friends like, hey, come listen to me talk for an hour, even though you do that when you hang out with me for 6 hours, like you're forced to do this. The one thing I will say, and I think this will be a shock to everyone, we didn't discuss this at all in our 24-hour walk. You think that would have been like a come to Jesus moment where we were at our lowest and we really like hashed things out?
No.
Like Brandon said, I woke up, I sent him the thumbnail for today. What was the topic supposed to be?
It was supposed to be about our walk, which I want to get into that. Like, we're going to get into that.
And Brandon texted me back like, hey, I don't want to do the podcast anymore.
It wasn't. I mean, I'm stepping down. But so I see a lot of people in the chat are saying, is this the end of the podcast? So like, well, Abby's kind of going to be the one that can answer that better than I can. But I don't know if you're going to start a new podcast, maybe change the name, change the logos, or maybe keep it all the same. Whatever it is, I think for now you're planning on still podcasting.
I would like to continue podcasting. Here's where I thought. A couple things. One, definitely got to change the logo, by the way. Your face is all over it.
Well, that's what I figured, that kind of stuff. And I could show you where I went for that kind of stuff.
Two, you have mentioned in the past, though, even changing the name of your channel screws things up. Will that screw me up, or we're just so little to begin with, it really doesn't matter?
Usually it doesn't matter when you're smaller.
Do I retain the same subscribers and everything?
If you change the name, you would still keep the subscribers and everything.
So I did think about starting a new channel and like broadcasting on this channel for the more like, mature
hey, everybody
people
that
to
enjoyed
it,
come over there, and it's going to be just me and my new.
And it's just going to be me, and you're obviously not going to get Brandon. And like, listen, I'm not stupid. I would say 90% of the people who listen to this are listening to it because your face is on the other side of the screen. So, although 10% of close to 6,000 people still gets me 600 people who I can, and like you've always said, the hardest thing to do is to start the first 100 subscribers. So if I can get 600 not hardcore Abby fans, because I'm not sure those exist outside of my mom and Kayla.
I see Dan R just said I'm still going to watch.
That, it's a good base to start with. And it also kind of just like flushes out the past. I realize like the spy cakes and the frustrated and like so cool interviewing Kabinda and like the OB videos are the ones that technically even make us money still to today. I kind of don't want people to go back and like look at that and be like, this is the way the podcast is. You know, I'd almost like to start it with this episode 76. And like
you can privatize videos. Like you can just go back and privatize all the old videos.
Okay.
So if people go, like you'll still keep the subscribers.
Right.
You could keep any, like if you want to keep the Kabinda one, because that is kind of a little different, or you can keep the one with whatever her name was, Adrian. You can do that.
Right.
Or you could just start from square one and like you said, maybe do one more on this channel saying like, hey guys, anyone that liked our content, liked me, go over there. It's going to be a little bit of an older,
And also, topic. Again, I can't stress this enough. It is not death to Brandon and me's friendship, I don't think.
No,
it will make it harder to like stay in content. I actually think in a weird way, this kind of fortifies our friendship because I do believe there was going to get to a point where I was going to do something stupid and it was really going to harm your life and you would forever hate me and I would hate myself.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that would have happened, but like, obviously that's like a reason, but like, honestly, our friendship is the reason why I haven't left earlier. There's no doubt, because my thought, like when I was talking to my parents and Sam about it a little bit, I was like, what do I do? Because like, I was like, I just don't think it's worth the time. Yeah, and a lot of people are like, Brandon, like, is Brandon leaving YouTube? No, I'm not leaving. I'm still
no.
The frustrated gamer every single day. TFG vlogs every single Sunday. It's only this podcast. And like I said, I'll still, like, if you change your channel, I'll come back as a guest, like on one of your first episodes or whenever you want me. But
it's ironic because I kind of don't want you to come on in the beginning because I don't want to get your followers.
Effect. It's going to be the same effect. But what was I going to say? My main thing when I was literally writing the text like sad today, and I was like, I just hope this doesn't kind of, and it's not like a fight. It's not like we're going to stop being friends because you're mad at me for leaving the podcast. I just hope it's not like, oh, now out of sight, out of mind. We're not seeing.
Yeah, we could like drift apart, because that has happened to you with like people at PVH, right? Like you're not that you dislike them or anything.
No, but I don't see them as much. I mean,
or even text.
Yeah,
I think like texting between me. I think the bridge of having Steve around too, like daily, is.
And another thing I want to say, a lot of people I see are saying like, I'm gonna miss you two together. Well, first off, this weekend is a fantastic vlog, maybe one of the best I've ever made, and it's with Abby, and we're gonna get into that in a second. I just want to finish one more thing,
and I think
I legitimately want to have you and my friends in my vlog a lot.
Yeah, I would like to continue to do
I know you live far away, but like, I mean, I have a ton of ideas for my vlog channel over here, and probably 50% of them involve other people.
Did the video actually come out really well?
I think it did.
Because I didn't know how that would translate to, because there was that. All right, let's pivot. So
let's move into that. We'll get back. We'll probably finish by talking about me leaving, but let's talk about what our main topic was going to be.
Sure. We attempted to walk New Jersey in 24 hours, which admittedly we all thought was going to be difficult. We had no idea how
from my house or from Steve's house, basically in New Hope.
Yes, 60 plus miles.
Through the entire state of New Jersey to the beach. That was the concept, and we've talked about this a ton on the podcast. So,
are you going to eat crow in front of everyone? Are you going to eat your humble pie?
So I will say I did not quit, but I was by far the worst out of the three of us.
I don't want to shame you, but yeah, you were. Although there is that other thing where I guess I'm going to try to be nice, because it's been a year and I don't want to make you upset. But I did truly believe it. And I think I'm starting to have a soft spot in my heart for you, Brandon Loretti, which I kind of hate. He also was the most like tough out of all of us, because I didn't have the like blisters on my feet that you did. And I was saying to myself, even when I saw them, I was like, I don't know how this guy's like, he is a stubborn little prick.
Well,
like, I don't know how he's going to continue.
I mean, I know like the suffering I've done, like that's why my parents were shocked when they heard that. Like, and again, I didn't quit. I did not quit. I don't think I was going to make it though if we didn't get rained out. But I told you ahead of time. I said I don't want to give away too many. That's why I'm like kind of pausing. Okay, I don't want to give away too much of the vlog either, so I don't want to get into it too much. But I told you that I would not quit. Basically, I was like, I'm not going to be the last one to stop, because I know how much I've like suffered in the past with different things that we've done. Right? This was just a different level, and I don't know if it's because maybe I didn't have the right shoes and socks. And
I think that's a huge part of it.
I was suffering more. I don't know what it was, but trust me, for me, I mean, you saw me. I was literally like at the point of, I was like, if not screaming, but like to the point where I was literally grimacing and like, oh, like just to walk. I was in so much pain. I'm telling you, because I was like, I can't quit. I look like an idiot if I'm the first one that quits. And you guys, like, I mean, obviously you weren't fine, but for all intents and purposes, you guys seemed relatively okay to keep going. And I was at the point where I'm like, my knees were buckling. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to collapse or not.
I don't know if this was in the video. So there was a couple things that kept driving me. One, I was defiant about starting at 3 o'clock in the morning. So
you were the best. I mean, like, Steve is probably the most miraculous.
No, he's a stud.
Steve was the most miraculous because he went out that night and had beer the night before.
You were 100% right about Steve in that, like, you told me leading up to it, you were like, I don't know how, I don't know why, but he will not quit.
Yeah.
And he will be able to do it. And I was like, I was talking to people who have done ultra marathons before, and I was like, telling them the tale of the tape.
You can be as strong as you can. You won't. I was like, trust me, I don't know how, but he won't quit.
I mean, this might be a spoiler. The fucking man drank a 16-ounce milkshake in the middle of the walk, and it actually helped him somehow. That should not fuel you on a 60-mile walk.
2 beers the night before.
He has Wade Boggs, Mickey Mantle jeans all over him, like the famous story of Wade Boggs drinking 50.
You think if Steve was like a hard worker, he could be like one of the greatest endurance athletes of all time?
No, not even that. But I told him, I said, Steve, if you actually put the time and effort into this, like, you'd be a freak phenomenon. Not the greatest of all time, but he would be like good at things. Like, I'm not saying he's not good at things to begin with, but he does not care. But I did see the fire in Steve's eye, like towards the end, like he cared.
No,
like me and him were even whispering to him.
I love that side of Steve. Like, you don't see it very often because 90% of the time you get the Steve, like, just to go with the flow, I don't care about anything, Steve. But when he has to dig deep, right? And also, like, and he deserved it, but, then we start tooting his own horn, which he completely deserved, but, like, we're doing the whole, like, you're an animal. And I wasn't even doing it to motivate it. I'm just doing it because I was shocked. As much as I've seen Steve suffer, he's still never beaten me in anything. I'm not beating me in anything, but, like, I'm saying in these endurance things. Like, even though I've seen him suffer and finish the bike rides, I've always still been, like, ahead of him. This was the first time where I thought I was going to, I don't know about die, that's dramatic, but I thought at any moment my whole body was going to seize up and collapse, and he was better. Yeah. So this was the first time where I was just like, something's up with this dude.
Steven Taylor has a rarefied air around him in so many ways. I can't explain him. He's an enigma of a human. He's a very unique human. He's ultra talented, ultra funny, and just so many other things.
And here's the other thing, like, because now I'm thinking, like you say, the Wade Boggs gene. I'm like, this guy's got. But so then you start thinking, like, man, this guy doesn't even have to suffer. It just comes easy to him. And then again, I'm not going to give too much away. He sends you a picture of his ankle yesterday, and I'm like, okay, he was going through pain. Like, that doesn't happen if you were fine.
Yeah, we completely underestimated. And I think the world underestimates walking is just hard, man. Like,
well, I was talking to my dad about it because my dad's run like 9 marathons, right? And he was like, yeah, he doesn't run anymore because his knees are shot, but he used to be a big marathon runner. And he was talking to me about it, and he's like, hey, when I ran marathons, I'm running the distance, we went longer, but like, he's like, I'm running long distance, but he's like, all right, I'm on my feet for 3.5 hours, right? 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Less steps too, technically.
Less steps because we're taking smaller strides. We were on I said this would be a hard challenge, even if we were just standing. We were standing for 16 hours.
Yeah, no, it was very difficult. I think I did the best because one, I was the most prepared.
Steve and I Steve really underestimated. I underestimated a lot. The funny thing we were saying is you were so prepared, and even you underestimated. All of us by far didn't think it was going to be as hard.
I underestimated. I also think I do the most like cross training. Like, Steve doesn't work out. You like play tennis and you have you do bike ride.
I ran, but that was years ago.
I run a decent amount, but like never long distances. I do a lot of like CrossFit, like jump, like squats. And like, I really do have like a cross mobility on my legs that I don't think you guys necessarily have, which definitely helped me. I also am big into yoga and like, not huge, but I do yoga for like stretching and mobility. The reason I thought I was going to do the worst is just strictly being 210 pounds and 6'1".
Yeah, like carrying more weight.
I was like, Brandon is 150 pounds and he's like shredded muscle. Same thing with like Steve. It will be less wear and tear on these men. But that's why I think the backpacks came harder for you guys because we all had equal weight. It felt like,
so it's like
but
I have percentage of weight that we're carrying of our body. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, my shoulders right here where the backpacks were, like today's kind of the first. I took a big step forward this morning. Like I would say I don't really have any muscle soreness anymore. It's just the blister. I mean, I still have these blisters that are like
what biggest... what did Sam say to do about the blisters?
So she kind of said like you're not really supposed to pop them. And then we looked it up and it kind of confirmed it was like your body is going to generate skin underneath the blister regardless of if it's popped or not. The reason why it creates that fluid bubble is to keep it clean. It's almost like a saline solution for the skin below it so it doesn't get infected. The problem is so if I was sitting on my feet the whole week, or sitting, not on my feet, if I was sitting on my butt the whole week, they said, yeah, they basically said like, don't do anything. It will heal automatically. And it actually said once the new skin's fully there, the liquid will kind of absorb back into your body, right?
Okay. And you'll have a callus basically,
yeah.
Right?
But in the short term, they said while the bubble is there, it's more painful. And
right.
I
so
told
you have to pop it on
I have
the
a
wall.
tennis tournament tonight.
But like, so on the walk, for the success of the walk, was the right thing to pop them?
I don't think
so. Pain management?
I don't think so. Not.
Oh, by the way, we got acetaminophen all wrong. Like Kayla said. So I said it was the inflammation remover.
No, that's ibuprofen.
Right.
Because that's what I was telling you. I was like, I don't think acetaminophen. Sam basically told me like acetaminophen is almost like a medical phenomenon.
Just took yeah, and it's also, we basically just took like a very low grade of like just a really strong pain reliever. We tricked our body into thinking we were okay.
Yeah.
But it did nothing for our actual joints. Yes.
Because, so for those who, I mean, I don't really get into it that
much.
But
I was right about it because I did reread it. You're not supposed to take ibuprofen because ibuprofen attacks your kidneys. And that's the thing that's going to shut down most when you're dehydrated on a walk.
Sam confirmed that because I was like, Abby was saying not to use ibuprofen. She's like, no. She's like, you probably would have been fine. But she's like, if you're dehydrated, you're not supposed to do ibuprofen because it is your kidneys. And on top of that, you know, you might have heard of this virus that's going around. Hey, there's a 14-day incubation period.
Oh, it makes you more susceptible to COVID.
No. If you have COVID and you take it, it again comes after your kidneys. So Sam said, what if one of the three of us could very well have had it, didn't know it. I mean, I think we would know by now, but like we could have had it and just weren't showing symptoms yet. If you take the ibuprofen, boom, that could be bad. Again, she said most of these things, if you're healthy and young, like you're probably okay. But she did say, considering all of that, acetaminophen was the right call. Okay. And boy, did it work.
I mean, I am not an advocate of taking like medicine to just like mask pain because that does lead to.
I mean, we took 2 Tylenols. Like again, we didn't do anything crazy.
But that and a little biofreeze, and it literally changed our entire outlook.
All
on the whole trip. Now, and I also think it would be a stupid thing to start from the get-go. Like we were.
No. Yeah.
I think you do have to wait until you're like on your last leg.
Because you're just tricking your body. It's not like the ibuprofen. Sometimes you do take that stuff ahead of time. So you avoid inflammation at all costs. The acetaminophen, you got to wait. And maybe we would do it a little earlier than we did this time. I mean, we did it after like 35 miles, which is like 15 hours. But because like Steve was like, let's just start like doing the Tylenol every 4 hours or whatever they say. And I was like, no, I think we should still wait. Yeah, maybe instead of 35, we'll do like 20 miles or 15 miles or something. But that made such an incredible difference.
It went by incredibly fast and incredibly slow at the same time. But it was far less mental than I thought it was. It was by far more physical than I thought it was.
It was like, you have to admit, it was fun. I mean, once we started, I guess it wasn't fun.
When I finished. The third thing that I wanted to get back to, the other reason I really didn't want to finish, I didn't want to stop, and I brought it up on my walk, and Steve even gave me the, like, don't do this right now. Like, my aunt is very sick, and she has a disease that affects her, like, ability to walk, and I just felt like I wanted to take more steps because she will never be able to take steps again.
Does she have MS? Is that what it is?
She has ALS.
ALS, okay.
And I even saw her the next day, and, like, it kind of, like, it choked me up too because she was in the chair. She has something to prop up her neck at this point. She can't lift her neck completely, and I was just like, I can't believe I failed.
That's why it would be so cool, like if we did make this kind of a tradition or something like that, to do, like we always said, we wanted to maybe have it tied to a charity, and that would be perfect.
Yeah, it would.
But
it's crazy.
Man, was that hard. But the one thing I will say, and Steve kind of called it, and we're falling into the trap again, but I look back on it with fond memories. Like I was editing the vlog yesterday, and like the vlog doesn't come out until next Sunday, but like I just literally, Sam was like, wow, you finished the whole vlog? I was like, I just had a blast editing it. Like even all the clips that got cut, like, because it's like going to be a 9.5-minute video, whatever it normally is. We had probably like 40 minutes of coverage. Dude, I'm just sitting there like laughing. Like it was just fun.
And you could tell the times too, especially. You could tell as the walk from a bystander of like not making the film process. I could tell when Brandon was starting to struggle. The camera came out way less, fellas.
Oh, well, that's the funny thing. In the beginning, like, the vlog's funny. Like, I think it's a good vlog. The intro's like, we got 2 minutes of doing a bunch of stuff. Then you come over and we do a bunch of stuff. Then we start the walk and it's like, mile 0. And then it's like, hey, mile 5. Hey, look, we're on the towpath. We're doing this. And then like
mile 30.
Mile 15. And then all of a sudden it's just like from mile 15 to mile 25, which 10 miles doesn't sound like a lot. But when you're walking, 10 miles was probably like, what, 3-4 hours?
It was horrible. That was the other thing from the start where I assumed, and I think almost everyone else assumed that like I had talked to that we were going to do a way quicker pace. We actually looked at our Apple Watch in the beginning and I was like, oh, we just did a 20-minute mile. I was like, you know what? Like I probably started it early. Yeah, it's not doing it right. Then the second mile came in around 20 minutes again. And I was like, oh shit, like we got to pick up the pace. And I even said it to you guys. I was like, guys, we have to pick up the pace. And you both defiantly looked at me and were like, I mean, if we're going to start walking fast, there's no way we're going to finish.
Yeah.
Do you think I was right or wrong? Do you think, or it's just inconclusive?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
I think, like you said, the standing on your legs for that long. I think if we were at that point, 14 hours in, if we were like 45 miles in at that point, or like 40 miles in, that might have changed our
without
outlook
giving away
too
much of the vlog. To our credit, as painful as it was, and hey, you could say whether or not we were going to finish or not. We didn't. We stopped the walk. We didn't quit.
Okay. No, I know.
There were circumstances that happened that forced us to quit. That was out of our control, and it had nothing to do with fatigue.
Speaking of quitting, since it's nearing the end of my lunchtime and I film on lunchtime.
Yeah.
This is the last 5 minutes of
So I do want to talk about this a little bit on the obviously we're going to talk a lot off the podcast. Well, and one thing I do want to say, I said it a little bit earlier. I legitimately, and maybe you disagree or maybe it just won't happen, I don't know, over time. I want to have you in my vlogs a lot. You know what I mean? And like a lot of my vlogs, I'm going to try to do things like, because I know that it's like, oh, well, look, now that it's on his channel, like, but I want my channel to turn into stuff like with my friends where like I said, I buy an iWatch and we fight to the death for it. No, we like run a mile and whoever runs the fastest mile gets it. Or like things like the Amazon gift card video. I want to start doing things like that because I think that could be a lot of fun. And I think it's fun. I think viewers like it. And I feel like I'm giving back to you guys a little bit. Like even this walk, like I said, I'd buy the Uber, but then Steve's sister picked this up. Like, I don't feel like you guys got a whole lot out of it other than just the experience. But I do want to give back to you guys if you go on my channel.
The only time I would want you to give back to is if like we had to make sacrifices because it was your video. And then on the walk, I never really felt that way.
That was something that you kind of wanted to do regardless anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Your channel's doing fantastic, by the way. Congratulations on that. I think it's well deserved. And I think
the vlog channel or?
Yeah, I think regardless of anything, and even my style of humor and stuff, you're very talented at what you do. I've said that to you from day one.
I really do enjoy the style that I've been making the new vlogs into. It's distinct, like you said, you're like, oh, this is a distinctly different vlog than the vlogs you had on your main channel. And that was on purpose. I really want to stick with this.
Are you have you exceeded 4,000 watch hours
no, not
already?
Yet. No.
But you're getting close?
I'm at like 2,300.
Impressive.
Something like that.
Very impressive. I saw the channel yesterday because I was like, all right, this is his second video. Like, I want to know if there's staying power. The first video, he plugged it on his channel and there's excitement to watch it. And
I was watching this one very closely for like that reason.
It did well. It
didn't do as well as the last one, which I don't think it was. I think it was impossible unless the video went viral or something. But like, this one was pretty much like, okay, I think I can get about 10K per video.
Which is great.
Which is fantastic for a new channel.
Because you're still getting the views on your regular channel because let's call a spade for one last time. You're putting out gaming content on your channel that's going to get the same amount of views as your vlog. Like, you'll have some vlogs that blow up, but this way now you're getting the views from the gaming video and you're building a separate channel, which is going to eventually make you more money and more success.
I'm just hoping it builds a kind of a bigger brand.
Separate fan base.
Yeah. Like, you don't see a lot of like Spy Cakes has 1.5 million subscribers, 1.9 million subscribers, and he has like 5,000 followers on Instagram, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like, a vlogger that has 1.9 million subscribers
should have 2 million.
Would have like maybe not 2 million, but like they would have hundreds of thousands on Instagram. You know what I mean? And I think listen, Spy Cakes is the guy that Spy doesn't need to do the vlogging channel. Spy is doing fantastic as a gamer, right? And I think that suits him. But I think for me, maybe because my channels are similar to those guys, I don't know if I'll ever get to that degree. I think they're better than me at gaming. I think my talent, what I bring to it, is more my personality.
I agree.
So I think eventually maybe I could be better at the vlogging stuff. I don't know. I love doing it, though. That's the thing. I love doing the vlogs.
Just like filming the video before the walk, Brandon. I think this podcast, if I continue to go on and go forward and hopefully grow and be successful, I think this episode will be super interesting in like 3 years from now. If somehow, some way,
am I going to be kicking myself in years if this vlog, or this channel blows up?
I don't think you will.
One, I don't think I will either. I think I'll be legitimately happy. Like, I'm hoping you do well. Two, let's say you get a new co-host, change the name of the podcast, even if you keep the channel. Change the logos, and then you blow up. I'd be an idiot. I'd be an idiot to be like, if I just stuck with it longer, we would have made it. It's like, no, Abby changed things and grew. It's not
also
like
don't think that
we wouldn't have grown if we kept doing it the way I did it, you know?
Right. Yeah, I don't think it proves anything. I don't think it proves that you're any far less of a talent. I just think it's a base that doesn't, one, listen to podcasts.
You know, I'll be watching listening to the podcast, no doubt.
Two, I actually thought of it, and I don't know how people feel about this. This might be a lot of work for me, but since I am very topical and I do like talking about current events, or even just talking about like the freaking chili that I ate for dinner last night, I thought about doing like 5 days a week, which I know you're going to think is crazy, but like 20-minute episodes,
just quick ones.
Yeah, like 15
with
to 20
YouTube,
minutes.
Consistent is key. So like,
right. And that's what I've learned the most from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've just learned in general, like, if you have people forget about you very quickly.
With the vlog channel, though, is that I'm doing once a week. I was like,
yeah, but
is it going to grow? I mean, I don't know.
It will. And I think you're going to get to a point where your vlog is huge or decently big.
And I'll get an editor or something.
Gaming channel's pretty big. Yeah. And then you have to kind of hire a staff, which will lead to more content.
Yeah.
Well,
so I do want to, I want to ask you.
Okay.
Well, one, I want to say, well, thank you for doing this for 11 and a half months. This was fun. Two, we better stay in touch, and you know I'm going to support the podcast. But three, we got to sit down at some point, whether it's through Discord or just phone, and I got to kind of walk you through. I mean,
teach me how to actually do it.
At the point that the live stream it's not that hard, but like I got to teach you how to do it.
Yeah. I appreciate that. I do appreciate I don't think a lot of people get this standpoint because I always rag on Brandon. I've been Brandon's, I mean, not like his mom. His mom is his biggest supporter, but I've been Brandon's pretty much, I would say, one of his biggest supporters. And I've also been the first person to tell other people to shut the fuck up and they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to Brandon. Because I've had people, even in my personal life, I had friends and stuff.
Or like,
what's he doing? Or like, I don't get it. And it's like, it's not for you. He's supremely talented in a way that's not, it's not for you.
It's purposely not for you. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he's not this way. And it's also like another thing that people don't get about Brandon is like, he's with the joke. Like there's a lot of things he doesn't know, but a lot of the times when he's being stupid and stuff, like Brandon knows what he's fucking doing.
On the channels, 99% of the time I am. Like, I get a lot of, even on my main channel, like, Brandon, how could you be so stupid if you went to college? Like, I literally get comments like that because, like, I'll trip and fall into a hole in Minecraft 4 times in a row, and it's like, it's on purpose. It's to be funny. Like, we're entertainers, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're there to be funny and entertaining. Clearly, I don't not see that hole. I mean, that's a stupid excuse, but or example. Or like, I'll say I mean, you do the same thing, like in the vlog, you know, the as Barack Obama said, and then you just made up a random quote, and it's like, Abby's so stupid that he thinks. Or here's a good example that I think I'm thinking of. Sometimes you're ahead of the crowd in the joke. Like, I played a video game a while ago where it was clearly a fake Donald Trump, and I was like, this guy looks like just like Barack Obama. I still get comments on that video. Brandon, you're an idiot. That's clearly Trump. That's the joke. It's clearly Trump, and I'm being like, look, it looks just like Obama. So, like, but then there's obviously stupid things that I say, like the address 123 entrance. I mean, like,
that was bad. Oh, we could talk about it. I hope. How I would like to leave this is, I hope that somehow I muster up the courage to continue going forward in the type of content that I'd like to do. I wish Brandon nothing but success in both his personal life. It's kind of going to suck for like milestone moments, because I do love that the podcast is there to, like, my wedding's getting pushed back. Like, this is happening. Like, eventually you're going to hopefully get married to Sam. You're going to do
and
this.
we were able to kind of talk about those things. As
right. And you have that to look back on. And it's like,
that was one of my favorite parts about
life.
the Monday podcast. Just, I mean, like, you could see how much I valued your opinion. Just coming on the Monday podcast and seeing what you thought of my vlog that week. You know what I mean? Like,
also, how about every episode, regardless of who my co-host is, I give a Brandon review of his vlog on the
knowing
Monday.
that I'll be watching it.
Yeah, very little context. I just say, like, maybe I don't even mention his. I'll say, "Thou who shall not be named," former co-host.
That was a 7.3 this week.
That was a 7.8.
Didn't like it. 9.
Correct.
That was my favorite one. Yeah, that'd be funny. So last question I have for you, because I know you got to go.
Sure.
Do you have a guess for who maybe you would get as a co-host? Are you planning on just doing this alone and just trying to get guests that are different each week? What's your plan?
So that's like very Rogan-esque. I don't think I'm talented enough to do it by myself.
I'm not. Like, not many people can do a podcast alone.
I do like feeding off other people. But one thing I will say I hated doing was, like, bargaining with you. Like, you had to, because
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is your podcast now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, obviously, we're going to have to figure out things with Screenwave and with, like, Podbean. Right. We'll have to move that stuff over to you if you're going to keep it on this channel. If not, I'll cancel it. But in the long term, like, now you run the podcast the way you want to run the podcast. If you get a co-host, you could choose whether to do it 50-50, or now, you know, you're established, you can make it more, whatever it is. But yeah, you don't have to deal with me censoring you anymore in topics or what we talk about, which I thought in the long run, you might enjoy more.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know the way it's going to go. Just follow this channel, because regardless, the communication will be here, whether I continue this channel or I do something else. You'll find out about it here. Follow my Instagram page.
What I would do, my recommendation, whatever you want to say, is I would keep this channel. I mean, like, because just think, most of our audience now, like you said, we have a lot of subscribers that probably don't watch us because they would come over when we interviewed Spy or when I would mention it on my channel. But I think a lot of the people we have in the chat, you see the same people every week, which means they like the channel.
Right.
I would keep the audience you have, because I've seen probably 10 or 15 people saying, I'm following you, Abby, wherever you go, but it's a little harder to convert them.
Yeah.
I would keep them. I would keep the channel. I would change. Look, someone says, I'm ready for Uncensored Abby. I'm excited for it. Dan R. I would keep the channel, keep the subscribers, change the name of the podcast. Probably. You could keep it the same. Definitely change the logo and the banner, and then have that first podcast. The first one might even be alone, where you say, welcome to whatever it is, the new thing, right?
Right.
and then build from there. I mean, you can start from scratch, but I think it's going to take you a lot more time.
I think I'm going to come up with a really unique name, like the Abe Rogan Experience or something like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to get another guy from like town named Dan Rogan, just so I legally don't get sued.
Yeah.
And so
he like, Dan, just sit in the corner. You have no personality, but we're just using you for your name.
Yeah, the Dan
Somebody
Rogan
said
Experience.
Abe Uncensored.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, that's the other thing we talk about. One thing I wanted to talk about micro penises in this episode, but like that was something that I knew I couldn't with you. And that's like something I will talk about on the channel, but it's also not going to be like, it's not going to be like Cole or Daddy where I'm talking about like, intercourse the whole episode.
No.
Or I'm not going to be
That's the thing about the two of us. I think 90% of what we wanted to talk about was the same. It was just the 10%.
Yeah.
But I can't have the 10% at all.
Right.
So it's like, from your standpoint, it's like, come on, I can't talk about a little bit of it. And it's like, not really. You almost can't have any of that because
I also like serious topics. Like we have different interests that like Brandon doesn't follow, right? Like I do think I've said this on the podcast, I'm not very political. At this point, I think like I am political. Like I'm not political to the point where, where I hate you for like the way you think, but I do think I lean one way, and I have thoughts on serious topics such as like BLM and George Floyd and everything like that. And I always hate being censored in that respect, that like I can't give my viewpoint. You don't have to agree with me, or you don't even have to like it for that matter. And you could probably unsubscribe if you don't. And I also like really love baseball too. That's all very minute, has nothing to do with censoring. And Brandon just doesn't know anything about. I love talking about baseball. Like I'm a very big New York Yankees fan. If you've seen it in every episode, I'm wearing a Yankees hat. I don't know. End of the era, gone, but never forgotten. If I become the biggest podcaster on earth, which I won't be, I will always credit Brandon Loretti as like one of the starts, and he will always have a number one fan in the whatever this podcast becomes called. And I hope he becomes the biggest get in all of history to get on a podcast, and I have his direct phone number, and I can call him on.
Hey, I turned down Rogan, but I'm coming on the Abe Experience. Yeah,
right. That's correct. The Abe Rogan Experience. That's the end, folks. Yeah. Brandon, last words.
No, guys, thank you for watching. Again, I'm not leaving YouTube. Like the Frustrated Gamer channel, that's not changing.
Go
TFG
follow.
Vlogs, the new channel. Yeah, seriously, guys, if you haven't seen the new vlog channel, go over there. It's definitely a different style of video, but I think a lot of you will like it. TFG Vlogs. Go over
what's
there.
your
I just
Instagram?
released the video yesterday. The Instagram is, well, now it changed. I think it is just TFG Vlogs now, but it's linked on both of my YouTube channels, so you could go over there. But don't unsubscribe from this channel. I'm still going to be a part of this channel from time to time as a guest. Abby's still going to be a part of my vlog channel. I mean, with starting this Sunday in the vlog, and I'd love to have them more often in the future. But I really do hope you guys enjoyed having me on this podcast. I'm excited to see where you go. I'm legitimately excited to see where you go with the podcast. Like, I'm excited for you to, like, I hope it, like, grows and you get picked up by Barstool. Like, I think that'd be so cool to say. I mean,
that would be awesome.
Hey, if you blow up, then I'm the one that's like, hey.
That's true.
Right? Hey, Abby, come on. Can you get, sure, all right, fine. Look at that. Now, I'm on the Abe Experience. Can you believe that? Why do you have this bum on?
That's funny.
That would be awesome. But obviously, we'll be talking a lot off camera. But if you have questions for how I do stuff, obviously, we'll talk.
And I will see you all on the next podcast.